mother's gaze, boredom's desert, and a gaming haze. Midland echoes in the yelling air, keen angst, a wildfire, unfair. Gaming realms, the sanctuary torn, endless laserscape, forlorn. Malaise, a shadow in the console's glow, Chrome Boys podcast, a torrential woe. Anyone's echo in the joystick's click, hating parents, a discordant pick. In this realm of digital shame, gaming's cry, a wounded flame.
Beautiful.
That was wonderful.
Beautiful stuff.
What
a poem sent in by a fan.
Gaming's cry, a wounded flame. That is so us. This show is the death rattle of gaming.
Gaming's cry, a wounded flame in the dark.
I needed to put, for some of the graphics I'm making, I needed to find like text to put.
Yeah.
I was gonna like animate text going around the head.
Yeah.
And that's what's gonna get written. Gaming's cry, a wounded flame. I gotta write that down actually so that I can use that.
Yeah, I generated a bunch of poems.
Gaming's cry.
Yeah. You wouldn't be you'd be surprised at how good at poetry ChatGPT is.
I believe it.
You just heard it.
That's really good.
Brilliant.
Gaming's cry, a wounded flame. That's really impactful. That's getting put in the graphics.
Yeah.
That's getting put in the graphics.
Well, that'll be the title of this episode.
Gaming's
cry, a wounded flame.
The show is the sound of 1 billion gamers all crying out. It's the sound of a planet of 1 billion gamers collectively weeping.
Yeah, I told it to write a poem about, like having your video games taken away by your mom.
I was gonna ask what the prompt was.
Yeah, well, there's more to that. Like, you have to put in a bunch of shit to get it to like not use normal sentence structure. It's like, don't use commas. Like, don't use period, which it still does.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it took a lot just to get the format to go.
Damn, that's funny.
But then I think it was like theme should include like despair and having your video games taken away by your mom.
This show is for boys who had that happen to them.
Yeah. That's the gamer's cry.
That's
a wounded
the gamer's
flame.
cry, dude. We're all a couple wounded flames here.
Yeah.
Collectively, it's like that monologue from Berserk.
Yeah.
Collectively, we form a bonfire.
Exactly.
Each
of
individual
gamers.
flame, a bonfire of gamers.
Yeah, well, we're some of the top gaming advocates out there.
Oh yeah, it's us and then that goblin porn guy.
I mean, I don't even play video games, but I still identify as a gamer.
That's fine. Yeah. You got trans gamerism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just spiritually, I think I'm a gamer.
Well, the world's a game, buddy, and let's just say I'm winning.
Yeah.
I play a game called Social Interaction.
Social Interaction.
Let's just say, usually I win.
Let's just say I'm taking L's left and right here.
I wanted to get this on the show so it's taped somewhere, but when we watched the Royal Rumble, one of my favorite bits that came out of that was Donald Trump tweeting about wrestling.
Yeah.
Which is so funny. Ivar looked disgusting at the Royal Rumble. Nipples protruding in front of everyone. Disgusting.
It's very rude. Ivar looked terrible. Big fat slob. Man boobs protruding in front of the WrestleMania crowd. Very disrespectful.
Charlotte Flair looked dumpy. She didn't look put together at all. I mean, your job as a professional athlete, very rude.
Very rude. Very disgusting.
I wish he'd tweet about wrestling. That'd be so funny.
I mean, he used to be on wrestling.
Yeah. He should be like he should live tweet every wrestling event.
Yeah.
I would vote for him if that was his platform. Was like, I don't have policies, but I will live tweet every Monday Night Raw.
Imagine if they had a McMahon versus Trump surprise event.
That's the other thing.
WrestleMania.
Oh man, that would go so crazy.
Yeah.
You got no chance. Did we get that on the show?
I think we might have mentioned it.
Oh man, is that funny?
About
McMahon's
the
music.
pop that they would get
Oh.
if Vince McMahon shows up.
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
Honestly, like wrestling should be one of those like mediums. Like, I feel like it's like the least surprising medium to completely ignore any sort of like social backlash you might get.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm pretty sure the crowd would go wild if Vince showed up.
yeah, well, like movies, I understand like not casting guys when they have like bad raps around them because like the whole industry is like gay, like Yale grad creative types.
Yeah, but also they didn't care about that until 3 years ago.
Yeah, they never gave a fuck. Yeah, no one cared about it until 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah.
But like wrestling is the one thing where I would be like, oh yeah.
Well, are Vince's allegations really bad? I haven't actually looked. I just heard he was pooping on chicks.
I haven't super looked into them either, so I'm gonna say
no. Actually, it was NBD.
As a guy who's done zero homework, I'm gonna say he's probably fine.
Yeah.
Let him back.
It's probably more of an Aziz Ansari type scenario, right?
Yeah,
I haven't looked into it at all. I'm just assuming.
It's like having done no
just
homework.
The woke mob.
Woke mob coming for a guy like they did Channel 5, Andrew Callahan.
Yeah.
Whatever. Trying to take our funniest guys.
Yeah.
Our most brilliant journalists like Andrew Callahan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, Vince McMahon is literally the Shakespeare of our times.
He's the Daniel Plainview of wrestling.
Yeah.
He is the most enterprising.
So I don't know what he did, but I'm going to assume
not that bad.
Not guilty.
Because I've seen There Will Be Blood, and he doesn't do anything that bad.
He doesn't do anything that bad either. That's what that whole movie's about.
It's like how he's not that bad.
He's fine.
He's like, yeah, in a comparative sense, he's probably like pretty okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be worse, folks.
Could be way worse.
Oh, I did actually want to do a follow-up for one of our last episodes.
What happened?
When we were talking about Elmo Gate.
Yes. I did see he eventually had to reply.
Who, Elmo?
Yeah. And he had to say, like, guys, I'm 3.
Well, okay, because there's the whole thing where, cause I feel like last time when we mentioned it, there was some suggestion that it was a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And I did kind of want to make the point that I neglected to make at the time, that nobody ever jokes about anything.
No, yeah.
And even when it seems like people are joking, they're actually telling you exactly what they think.
And how they feel.
That's literally a life lesson you can all take.
On the internet especially.
Just believe what people tell you.
Yes.
Because nobody's ever joking about anything. And people were genuinely trauma dumping at
Oh,
Elmo.
yeah, 100%.
Like, that is the millennial dream, is to sit on Barney's lap and tell him you're sad.
Yeah.
But, do you know who Wil Wheaton is?
Yes.
Because there was the thing, like, after that happened where Elmo and Larry David were on some talk show.
Oh, okay.
And Larry David, like, bonked Elmo on the head or something.
That's funny.
And Wil Wheaton, I don't know if I saved
Wil
it.
Wheaton, he was on, like, Star Trek, was he not?
He was on one of the Star Treks. He might have been, like, a kid or something.
Okay.
But now he's, like, like a dorkable soy influencer.
Right. Damn, that's such a good archetype.
Like
so many guys.
All these pictures of him, and it'll be like his hair's all messed up.
Yeah.
With the caption, "This bedhead is illogical," while he's drinking out of like a coffee mug that has like a rainbow Darth Vader mask on it.
He's what was that website that was popular in like thinkgeek.com?
Yeah.
He's that guy. He's the store, the guy.
Let me see if I can find it though.
An adorkable soy
soy-fluencer.
Soy-fluencer.
So let me see. Oh man, this dude posts on Facebook all fucking day.
Wil Wheaton?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like here, just look at it. That's like that.
Oh.
He does one of those every day of this mussed up hair, being like, "Look how crazy my bedhead is," while he sips from a coffee cup
with the Misfits logo on it. So he's kind of hard.
But he's always got a different coffee cup. There's someone.
Soy-fluencers love coffee.
Look who's a fan of his.
Oh wow.
Shocker.
Wow. Wait, hold on. Can I see that one more time?
Just a second. He does it on like every other post, so I can find it. Cool. Yeah, neurodivergent rebel, like that one.
Wow, like that one.
I'm trying to find the post. Man, this dude posts.
The key to being a soy-fluencer is being a badass neurodivergent guy.
And he's like a dude who's still wearing a mask in 2024.
Oh man.
God, where was it? When did this happen? But anyway, he posted this huge long thing about how traumatized he was seeing Larry David attack Elmo.
Are you kidding?
Who's canonically a child. And then he went on because he had an abusive dad, how much it like hurt his feelings to see. And it was like huge. It was like a giant block of
Holy
text.
Fuck,
And then
dude.
in the replies, he was saying that he it was so traumatizing because he put his hands on Elmo without Elmo's consent.
Dude. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy
Man, I
shit,
wish I
dude.
could- I gotta-
That's like some of the most severe case of like brain worms I've ever seen.
Like, when did that happen?
Good lord.
And also, somewhere in there, oh, here it is. He referred to himself as like, oh, and people are just gonna say I'm a soft millennial.
Yes.
I looked it up, and he's 55 years old. You're not a millennial.
55 years old.
He might be spiritually a millennial, but he's in his 50s.
Holy shit. Okay, yeah. Wow. Holy shit. Okay, being in your... I was going to say, if he's like 41 and acting like this, he's too old to be acting like that. In his 50s is like...
He's in his 50s.
Oh, my God.
Okay, let me read it here. I found it. It's very long.
Holy shit.
But yeah, so this is in regards to Larry David assaulting Elmo.
Assaulting Elmo.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the opposite. So we just heard good poetry at the start of this episode.
Yeah, this is the reverse of that. So I heard about Larry David assaulting Elmo on live television, but didn't watch it till now because I knew it would upset me. Holy shit, it's even worse than I thought. What the fuck is wrong with that guy? Elmo is like the best friend to multiple generations of children. In the Sesame Street universe, Elmo is a child who is currently putting mental health and caring for others in the spotlight. And Larry fucking David did that? I thought it was going to be funny? What? What an asshole. What a stupid, self-centered, tone-deaf asshole. Full disclosure, all the time when I was growing up, my dad would grab me by the shoulders and shake me while he screamed in my face.
Damn, I wonder why.
He choked me more than once. He was always out of control, always in a furious rage, and always terrifying. I'm a 51-year-old man, and my heart is pounding right now, recalling how I felt when I was a little boy who loved Grover the way today's kids love Elmo. This is appalling, unforgivable, despicable act hits more than one raw nerve for me, and I'm going to say what I'd wish I'd been able to say when this sort of thing happened to me.
Oh my God.
Larry David, this was not okay, and your obviously insincere apology clearly communicates that you don't get that. First of all, you aren't even in the segment, but you just decided to barge in and draw focus because why?
Because he's a comedian and it's funny. It's funny. He's doing his job, you stupid fuck.
You couldn't stand that a puppet brought people together in a meaningful way that you can't. You couldn't stand that your appearance on national television to promote your wildly successful series was delayed for a few seconds while the adults talked about mental health. You wanted to manufacture a viral moment where everyone gets to see what an asshole you are. So they'll tune in and watch you portray an asshole in the last season of your show that celebrates how great it is to be an asshole without ever experiencing the consequences of being an asshole.
Oh my God.
Okay, that's less than half of it.
Holy you're
I'll skip to the last paragraph here. It goes on for many more paragraphs in that vein. I hope that when the dust settles, Larry David's appalling behavior will be a footnote to a larger story about how, for just one day, a Muppet made a difference and helped millions of people who are struggling to feel a little less alone. With one question, Elmo got lots and lots of people speaking openly and honestly about mental health. A non-trivial number of people who none of us will ever know were inspired by it. And that was the last little nudge they needed to make a call or send an email to begin healing. Elmo probably saved lives and relationships by opening that conversation. A man who would belittle and mock that isn't much of a man at all. Shame on you, Larry David.
It's actually no, and the big confusion is a man who would write this is not a man at all. Jesus Christ, getting mad at like an 80-year-old Jewish comedian for hitting Elmo.
Because Elmo was saving lives.
That's probably we talk a lot about adult baby syndrome.
Elmo was getting people to start therapy.
Elmo was putting people on SSRIs.
Which always works. He closed the comments on it.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah.
'Cause I know in the comments that was where he referred to people being like, "Oh, you're just a whiny millennial," and also that's when he mentioned that it was without consent.
Without consent. Oh my god. Okay.
That's what I mean. For a lot of people, like, they weren't joking.
Well, like. That's just like maybe the single gayest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's what too much therapy does to a motherfucker.
See, 51-year-old, like soy influencer, being mad at Larry David.
Yeah, I haven't seen the clip, but I kind of assume it was just a bit. And it's funny having Elmo and Larry David, whose thing is being like an acerbic grump. That was kind of the joke.
Larry David like played to his strengths and was like, yeah, sure, maybe he went on a segment he wasn't invited in.
Yeah.
And if it's a late night segment, made it infinitely more watchable already.
Yeah, probably a bunch of people watched it.
Well, also, like, that's just improving the quality of the product by having Larry David, like, barge in and disrupt the, like, gay formula of, like, Jimmy Kimmel being like, so when was the last time you tried to eat all the pills in your cabinet?
Yeah.
And then having, like, the Emily Blunt be like, this morning. And then he's like, oh, clap for her.
But you don't understand. They were talking about mental health.
Elmo, a puppet, a fucking toy.
He was saving lives by getting people to start therapy.
Well, that's also, like,
I've made this point many times, but you ever notice how people who go to therapy all the time don't get better? How they just keep getting worse and worse?
if that's all you do and you just think that's going to fix it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, I think it's the key thing of, like, being the soyfluencer is, like, I think that the great association is assuming that sort of thing is what will help.
Talking to Elmo.
The Elmo at all. Like, being 51 and thinking, like, Sesame Street is at all going to help your mental health is such a, like, baby brain.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Wil Wheaton.
Wil Wheaton.
If you're 51 years old and still struggling with mental health problems, Elmo is not step 1.
Right.
Elmo is not step 7.
Yeah.
Elmo is step, like, 38 after you've, like, assessed your fucking diet and started to get, like, sun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it sucks, that he was getting Bart Simpson choked all the time as a kid.
Look, as a guy...
But at a certain point, don't you just have to be like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
That sucked, but now I'm like a, moderately well-known comic book convention guy.
Yeah, I make my living going to fucking conventions.
And
I'm good.
I can spite my dad because I make my money going to conventions.
Well, also...
Like,
this also just highlights, like, how much your dad has already won.
Yeah.
By you weeping about Elmo highlights that your dad was right for doing all of that stuff to you as a kid.
Yeah, he didn't shake you hard enough. Maybe.
Yeah. As a guy who had a pretty rough dad, and a lot of people I know who also had, like, pretty rough dads.
Yeah.
Normally there was, like, a point. And, like, true, like, adult behavior is, like, understanding that, like, that might be, like, an overreaction, but also analyzing why he did that and being like, oh, it's because I need to do this more.
Well, okay, I'm not trying to be, like, totally heartless here.
Yeah.
But don't you at some point just have to get over it?
Yes. If you're 51.
Like, when you're in your 50s, like...
You're getting into your twilight years.
Can't you just be like, man, fuck that guy?
It's...
Yeah. Like...
Yeah.
Like... Seems like dwelling on it to the extent that you're crying
about Elmo.
At Elmo getting bonked on the head by Larry David on TV.
Like, that just highlights, like, how right your dad was to be, like, pretty rough on you.
Like, at some point you just have to be like, well, that sucked, but here I am. Made me the man I am today.
Sure,
shit
yeah,
like
whatever.
Like,
yeah, there's plenty of ways to like, go about, like,
to sort of rationalize that so you can go about your day.
And not, like, see that and, like, weep.
And not be, like... writing huge walls of text on Facebook.
Well, also just like it's like it just highlights like how, because like how healed you actually are if you see that and weep.
Yeah, clearly your therapy is not working.
Yeah, something's fucking wrong.
Start drinking or something.
Start like punching yourself in the head in the car. You know?
Yeah, because the therapy's not cutting.
Whatever you're doing, Will, isn't working. You're crying at Elmo right now, dude.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, he's healing. It's like, you're crying.
You're crying at Elmo.
He's healing people, you bastard. It's like, you're weeping on Facebook. What are you talking about?
Yeah, because Larry David was rude to Elmo.
Larry David did as a big kid, did his job.
Yeah,
he got booked on a
Elmo,
show and made it funny.
who's a child, apparently. Though I'm sure as some 51-year-old man holding the puppet, you know? Who's probably like...
Yeah, everyone involved in that gag was probably like, that was pretty funny, Larry, good job. And he was like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like a professional, legendary comedian.
Yeah.
Who made the best sitcom of all time.
And that's just his move.
He's a
He's
grump.
being a grump,
He's a big grump.
who gets himself in awkward social situations. And also the thing about him, like the show being about him not facing, it's always him facing consequences.
Constantly.
That's what that music comes on when he's facing consequences of his own
The
action.
highlight of the show isn't that it's cool to be like that. It's that it's constantly catching up to him. Yeah. The point of the show. It's like Louis. The point of Louis is that like the point of Louis is like he's like usually takes some like external force to have him like face like the ugliness of his like true self.
Right.
That's what comedy generally is when it's done well.
Yeah.
Is like facing the ugly parts of something and like processing it healthily.
That's literally every episode of Curb. Because Larry's an asshole, and then it comes back on.
Yeah. That's just like.
And then the music plays.
This is a perfect topic to do the Scotch sipping sociologist or whatever.
Maybe that's what it should be. It should be going for unhinged Facebook comments, doing a 3-hour video essay
on why
debunking it.
Why Wil Wheaton is mentally ill.
Debunking Wil Wheaton mentally ill.
Well,
posts.
It is the most like the effect you doing that proves how wrong you are. The fact that you're crying about Elmo saying he's healing people is like, obviously he's not. Because you're crying. It's I can't say it more simply than, Will, you're crying right now. Yeah. That means you're doing mentally worse than everyone else. And you're saying this is what helps you and fixes you.
Yeah.
It's like if like it'd be like if I was like 700 pounds being like, yeah, I got my diet under control. And then you're like, dude, your legs are purple. Yeah.
And just like clearly the route you're taking to get over your childhood trauma
isn't working. You're a 51-year-old man
crying at Sesame Street
because your dad was mean. You gotta.
You're seeing an Elmo has someone be rude to him.
Yeah, you have to grow up a little bit, Will.
Yeah,
you got to tighten up a little. You can't be like obviously. It is just so funny to be like, he's healing. Will, you're crying. What do you mean, Will? You're weeping about this. You got to do some work. Obviously, you need more work than Elmo.
Or he needs to do less work. I think that's the issue.
Well, like you need to do
too much therapy.
You need to do a little something different.
Because like, listen. I'm sure some people go to therapy and they get something out of it. I'm not trying to throw shade at them or whatever. But I think there is a thing where people have too much of it.
Well, yeah, it's like,
and then they can never escape.
Yes.
The trauma because they like keep doing it all the time.
Yes. Well, it's like a hacky joke, but it's like, why would I go to therapy if I've already forgotten childhood trauma? Why the fuck would I go to a therapist to like remember it?
And I think some people have too much therapy.
Well,
you've had enough therapy,
it's like,
sir.
It's like the mental equivalent of like, you remember like Nutrisystem?
Was that some like blender or something?
It was like a diet program where you bought like all your food from Nutrisystem.
Okay.
And you would just eat Nutrisystem, and that was supposed to like make you ripped. And it's like if you're like mentally unwell and all you do is therapy, that's like the Nutrisystem. Like you're not working out, you're not actually like, you're just having someone tell you either you're actually perfect and everyone else is like a problem.
Yeah.
Or like it's just not enough like to just do that generally.
Yeah.
Normally it takes
And for me with my trauma, I just like push it down.
I just buy a nip of whiskey and then punch the steering wheel of my car.
I just push it down and pretend it didn't happen.
And then
and sit in my car alone at night. Do primal screaming exercises.
I listen to Burzum and yell.
And am I going to have a heart attack when I'm 51? Yeah.
Guaranteed.
But I won't be posting about getting my feelings hurt.
My Facebook page is going to be clean.
Nothing Elmo can do can hurt me.
Yeah. Ironically enough, yeah, you're like the walls of your garden are higher than Wil Wheaton's.
Yeah.
Will's been hiring contractors to build his garden walls for years.
Yeah.
And they're still 4 feet tall.
Well, just because, like, what do you do when you're like 50 and you're still in therapy about your dad shaking your shoulders? Is it just every week you go in and your therapist's like, all right, Will, close your eyes and think about your dad shaking when you were a kid again.
Yeah.
Let it all out.
Yeah, it's like going to a doctor and being like, my knee hurts, and then for the next 31 years, the doctor hits your knees with a hammer.
Yeah.
And then it's like, come back next week, we'll see how it heals.
And, you know, like at some point you just got to be like...
You could just walk off the knee pain, probably.
Yeah. At some point you just got to go get the McDonald's McRib, get on the Sherwood Park Freeway, and go 130 kilometers an hour with one hand while you're trying to eat a sloppy McRib.
Yeah.
You'll feel better on the other side.
Yeah, and listen to Tool.
Listen to Tool, my favorite band, Tool, which I'm on the record as a big-time Tool enjoyer and a Mars Volta hater.
But yeah, it's like, it's just... you couldn't highlight how ineffective what you're preaching about is more than weeping about Elmo being mishandled by Larry David. Yeah. Like, that's just like, at a certain level, like, that's just adults, and you have to be a big kid about that.
Yeah.
You got to just be a big kid and go, oh, that was funny that Larry David did that.
I'm sure everyone there was fine with it. Like, not
also,
having seen it, it's like...
Also, Elmo isn't real.
He's a puppet.
Never been real.
He doesn't actually have feelings because he's a puppet.
End of the day.
And I feel like most, like, children... Like, say there's a children who's watching, like, the Today Show or whatever it's on.
Yeah.
They're not going to care.
No.
They probably won't know who Larry David is.
They're just going to be like, who's that old man who just bonked Elmo in the head with the frying pan?
Yeah.
Well, also, like... it's not like Larry David went and like curb stomped Mr. Rogers. You know?
Though if he did,
that'd be funny.
Wil Wheaton would have a real long post about it.
Well, that's more something where like the whole world would be like, whoa. Hey, Larry, like cool your jets, man. If you like shot Mr. Rogers with like a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Everyone would be like, all right, Larry, that's a little over the line.
Yeah.
But like bonking a puppet on the head is also such a like dude, that's like 20s comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the shit that Napoleon's watching in fucking Time Bandits.
It's just such a
classic.
It's such a not even a like slow pitch.
Yeah.
It's just such a, it's like, if you were like counting pitches on the ball diamond, that's like Wil Wheaton crying because the pitcher spat.
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
it reminded him of his dad.
Spitting into his food and making him eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wil Wheaton gets the award for gayest guy of the week. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'd heard his name, but I wasn't familiar with him before this.
Yeah.
But man, he seems like a loser.
I think he's, and this is obviously, but I think he's had a bunch of appearances on The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I saw just like scrolling his thing. It seems like he does like a Star Trek Discovery like recap show.
So this guy's whole thing is like living in the past.
Yeah, and apparently I don't have it saved, but I guess a couple years ago he had a kind of similar giant spurg out because Lego made like minifigures of whatever Star Trek he was on, and he I think like the one of his character was crying. Because I guess his character, I don't fucking care about Star Trek, but I guess his character cried a lot, and he had some giant Facebook spurg out about how it's like insinuating that his character's weak and stuff like that.
Well, the whole
hurting
world is telling you you're a pussy. That's so funny.
Yeah.
If like Lego like looked at it and was like, oh, this is the dude who's always crying.
Yeah.
Wil Wheaton, wasn't that guy who's always crying? Wil Wheaton, famous crying guy.
Yeah, famous fucking crybaby pussy Wil Wheaton.
God, it just boils down to like, man, you're being a real pussy about this.
Yeah, you gotta just chill, man.
Smoke some weed, dude. Listen to some Burzum. Become a big fat slug, dude.
Yeah, this dude needs to watch more German scat and pooping films.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably about time to go into the page. So I'm
Yeah.
talking about the cool German scat movies I've been watching.
Yeah, let's hear about them. Are they actually scat movies?
Yes.
Is this just porn that you were looking at, or?
No, it's German art films.